Then another one is called building social enterprises. Hello everyone, my name is Nazrul. Welcome to the Alumni webinar series of Azim Premji University. This series began 4 years ago and we have covered many interesting topics, mostly around contemporary development issues and presented by our alumni. And we have been continuing to do so. It is very easy for a university like us to do it because almost all our graduates are working in social sector. They're working in all kinds of domains. And through this alumni webinar series, we are doing two things. One is that we are connecting with our graduates who are in a specific domain. And secondly, they are bringing interesting perspectives, their experiences, and sharing through this series. Today's webinar is being held to celebrate, as we know, as we have all announced, that today is World Youth Skills Day. And everywhere we have been talking about, and especially a country like India, we have been talking about the importance of skilling our youths very meaningfully so that they can become productive citizens, so that they can contribute to a vibrant democracy, so that they can lead a meaningful life. 15 July is a day to celebrate it all over the world. We have invited three of our graduates who are from different, who has graduated from university in different batches, and all of them are working in the largely what we call skilling domain. Let me give a very short context to what we are going to hear from them. As we know that in comparison to other countries like UK, Germany or US or even Japan and South Korea, and India being a very, very young country, we all know about the demographic dividend that we have, right? We are a very large young country. Most of our population is below 30 to 25, 30 years. Compared to many other countries in the world, very low percentage of India's workforce has undergone formal skill training. And interestingly, there is another dimension to this whole narrative, whole debate. And that dimension is that we have been always hearing complaints that even if people are skilled, even if youths are skilled, there is hardly any meaningful jobs for them. Where are the livelihood opportunities? Where are the employment? Where are the numbers? The industry is not absorbing it. So there are two sides to this debate of skilling as an employment. And we thought that it will be good to hear from people who are working in this field currently. So as I mentioned earlier, we have three graduates of Azim Premji University. What we will do is that I will request all of them to one after one briefly introduce themselves, which batch they were part of at Azim Premji University, and currently what they are doing. So let me begin with Sarika.
So hi everyone, my name is Sarika Dixit. I am the first batch of APU, which was the 2011 and 13 batch MA Education. Since I've done my master's from APU, I've been engaged at various governmental organizations. Currently, I'm working as a senior consultant in National Council for Vocational Education and Training, which is a skilling regulator under the aegis of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. My major profile here holds that I'm working on the implementation of national education policy, formulation of national credit framework and its implementation. I also worked on revision of national skills qualification framework. Prior to this, I was working with MSD as well as Ministry of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarika. Very relevant because as we know that new education policy has completely changed or going to change the skilling landscape in India. We would like to hear from you. Saranya Rao, who is currently in Nepal, Please introduce yourself, Sarika.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharanya. As Nazrul said, I am MA Education batch of 2014, so the second batch at APU, and I was at university with Sarika and Nazrul. So it's really nice to be able to connect with them over this webinar as well, and lovely to see all their faces. So yes, since I have graduated, since I have graduated, I've been working at various schools in rural Maharashtra and rural Jharkhand. And now, since the past 5 years, I have been working as a program manager at Atut in Nepal. So Atut is a sports for development NGO. We work with about 250 plus girls in southern rural Nepal. So we work in Kapilvastu district along the UP border. We are very close. Gorakhpur is the closest Indian city to us. Gorakhpur is about 3 to 4 hours away. So at Atut, we use football to help educate and empower girls. So we are a before school and after school program. We use football sessions, educational classes like tuition classes, life skills workshops, and community engagement to work with these girls to skill them, to educate them, to empower them. I will talk a little bit more about our life skills workshops later on through the course of this webinar. But yes, it's really lovely being here, and yeah, look forward to the webinar.
Thank you, Sarin. Let me come to our youngest alumni, Prakash. Please introduce yourself, Prakash. Where are you now?
Hi, everyone. I am Prakash from MA Development 2018 batch. And currently, I'm working in ITC MSK Social Investment Program and looking after vocational skills. So over to you.
Okay, I don't know whether was there some break in Prakash's voice.
Yes, there was a slight break.
Now I'm audible.
Yes, yes. Oh, yeah, okay. We'll see later. But thank you, Prakash, for introducing yourself. And as our audience can see that we have someone who is working with government, someone who is working with not-for-profit, what we typically say NGO sector, and someone who is working in the CSR domain. So the format of today's session is that, and of course, all of the audience can definitely ask questions, and I would like you to type your comments and questions in the chat box, and we'll take it after some time. But as a moderator, let me have the advantage of asking the first question, have the privilege of asking the first question to our panelists. So what I will do, I will go back again to Sarika, since she is working very closely with the government system and working very closely with the new education policy. So Sarika, my question to you is that how are some of these current policies changing the skill development narrative in India, and what kind of thinking is going behind the recent policies, including NEP? What is government thinking about bringing changes to this entire domain of skill development? And if you can talk something from your own engagement with the system, that would be ideal.
Thank you so much, Nazrul. So as we all know that 15 July 2015 is celebrated as World Youth Skills Day. Now, 15 July is celebrated as World Youth Skill Day. In 2015, the same day, Skill India mission was launched. That was the beginning of the entire concept of full-fledged skilling, wherein the government showed that they mean business when it comes to skilling. Notwithstanding that, there were programs and there were schemes and there were efforts being made even prior to that. So I'm making that very clear. Now, what happened that after the Skill India mission was launched, the structure of the mission was such that there was a national skill development mission, under which there was state skill development mission. These missions eventually led to the formulation of National Skill Policy, which is also called as National Policy on Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, which for a very long time, even in certain contexts today, is considered as the Bible when we think of skilling. When you want to set context of skilling in various sectors, in various areas, followed Following this, the ministry was formulated, and then the flagship scheme of Pradhan Mantri, that is the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, was notified. We all know that the skilling in generally is there's been a certain challenge that वो एक साइलो में होता है ना कि आपने स्किलिंग अलग है, एजुकेशन अलग है, वो वाला कॉन्सेप्ट काफी प्रिवेलेंट था. Suddenly the national education policy comes in 2020 and it tells you कि नहीं, skilling is not something which you can do, you know, just as one component of your thing. It has to be integrated. It has to be an integral part of your entire education mechanism. You cannot see skilling or vocational education as, you know, one component of something. So the entire objective of national education policy then became to consolidate all the efforts, not only education, but into the skilling as well. Integrating skilling in the education mainstream. While NEP continued to promote multidisciplinarity, it said that there should be no hard separation between, say, curricular and non-curricular and extracurricular. And it talked about a holistic learning perspective. Now, from a vision point of view and the philosophy point of view, the NEP was doing great and still does. And that is something that we all hold on to when we are formulating policies in the government at this point of time. We are very soon, July and 29th, probably we'll have the 4th year of NEP. Now, what happened is the challenge was how to implement this NEP. So, there was a group formulated and a national credit framework was envisaged and then it was developed and formulated. I'm glad to say that I was a part of that entire initiative. Now, what does this national credit framework say? Based on the all provisions of national education policy, the NCRF says that first and foremost, all the learning should be measurable. So whatever we learn, we should be in a position to measure it, and the unit of measuring this was called as credits. So we say the creditization of all the learning that we are doing is a part of NCRF. Now NCRF what also does is that the great thing about it is that it is not only creditizing higher education, which was already existing, but NCRF also creditizes the school education and the entire vocational education training and the skilling ecosystem. In addition to this, while we are talking about creditization of learning, it also takes into consideration the learning acquired through work experience, work proficiency, and all these mechanisms like internship, apprenticeship, on the job training, etc. So there is an entire gamut of how to see your learning. So that is what NCRF started doing. Eventually, the NCRF has also detailed, or it is, we are also like, I would say we are finalizing that order should be out very soon, that how the skilling has to get integrated and how the curriculum design should work on. So all those details are taken care by the National Credit Framework, and trust me, the entire education and skilling ecosystem is more or less aligned to this thought now. The third thing what we are doing is skilling as an individual, like NSQF framework which we talk about, like जो Ministry of Skill Development और NCVT के परव्यू में आता है. जब आप उसकी बात करते हैं तो हमने पहले NSQF का एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी वाज लाइक कि क्योंकि ये स्किलिंग का प्रोग्राम है, स्किलिंग का फ्रेमवर्क है, तो देयर वर इनिशियल हिकअप्स इन अडॉप्टिंग दैट फ्रेमवर्क. NCRF आने के बाद हमने पूरा NSQF फ्रेमवर्क भी रिवर्क कर दिया, उसको NCRF से अलाइन कर दिया, और उसको आप एक तरफ तो स्किलिंग को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं और दूसरी तरफ आप उसी स्किलिंग को एकेडमिक में इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए इकोसिस्टम और मैकेनिज्म्स डेवलप कर रहे हैं, ताकि एजुकेशन, जो एजुकेशनिस्ट हैं उनका ये व्यू ना रहे कि एजुकेशन डाइल्यूट हो रही है, साथ साथ हम उसमें स्किलिंग भी कर सके, तो एक होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट के तौर पे उसे देखा जा सके. ये एक मोटा मोटी जो मैंने आपको एक पर्सपेक्टिव दिया, दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द गवर्नमेंट. जितने भी काउंसिल्स हैं, जितने भी मिनिस्ट्रीज हैं, वो सब इसी इकोसिस्टम को या तो एक्सेप्ट और अडेप्ट कर चुकी हैं या इन प्रोसेस हैं. इसके अलावा जब हम स्किल स्कीम्स की बात करते हैं तो हमने PMKVY की ऑलरेडी बात कर ली है. बहुत सारी सेंट्रल मिनिस्ट्रीज हैं, करीब 20 मिनिस्ट्रीज हैं जो कि स्किलिंग के प्रोग्राम्स रन करती हैं. डिटेल्स आपको कभी भी आप गूगल करेंगे मिल जाएंगी. कुछ स्कीम्स जैसे आप मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रूरल डेवलपमेंट की दीनदयाल उपाध्याय कौशल्य योजना, जो हम DDUGKYB जिसे बोलते हैं, वो है. मिनिस्ट्री को एक वर्ल्ड बैंक से सपोर्ट मिलता है जिसको संकल्प स्कीम बोलते हैं, जिसमें जो ITI और इंस्टीट्यूशनल मैकेनिज्म्स हैं उनको डेवलप किया जाता है. अप्रेंटिसशिप इकोसिस्टम को सपोर्ट करने के लिए नेशनल अप्रेंटिसशिप ट्रेनिंग स्कीम बनी है जो कि हायर एजुकेशन में चलती है, और नेशनल अप्रेंटिसशिप प्रमोशन स्कीम है जो कि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंकर करता है. इनोवेशन और क्रिएटिविटी को इनेबल करने के लिए अटल इनोवेशन मिशन की स्थापना की गई नीति आयोग के द्वारा. इसके अलावा आप देखेंगे टूरिज्म की एक मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टूरिज्म की अपनी स्कीम है हुनर से रोजगार तक. MSME है वो entrepreneurship डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम के लिए उनके अपने ESDP और टूल रूम प्रोग्राम्स चलते हैं. और माइनॉरिटी अफेयर्स के अलग से जैसे नई रोशनी और सीखो और कमाओ नाम से कुछ स्किलिंग प्रोग्राम्स ऑलरेडी चल रहे हैं. तो कहने का अर्थ है कि गवर्नमेंट बहुत ही फोकस्ड इंटरवेंशंस और फोकस्ड एम के साथ एक इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन इकोसिस्टम को डेवलप करना चाहती है, और जिसका स्किलिंग या वोकेशनल एजुकेशन ट्रेनिंग एंड स्किलिंग जो इकोसिस्टम हम बोलते हैं, VETS बोलते हैं, उसको इंटीग्रल कंपोनेंट की तरह देखती है. थैंक यू.
No, quite helpful, Sarika. And we have brought some of the very key points from the government's point of view, and how the government is thinking about bringing positive changes to this landscape. But as all of us know, that any policy is as good as it is implemented on ground. Perhaps it would be good to hear from Sharanya and Prakash what is happening on ground currently. Sharanya, since you are working with an organization which is engaged with life skills and soft skills training, one very crucial criticize or concern about skilling is that only giving core skills to any individual or any student is not enough. That will not make that person employable. That will not make that person's life more meaningful. The soft skills / life skills must be an integral part of that. According to you, Sharanya, how important it is to add life skills, soft skills training for a better learning journey of a student in any skill development program? And if you can bring some insights from your own work in India and now in Nepal. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Nazrul. So yeah, you raised a very key question about how important soft skills are in a individual's development, in a child's, student's development. And I think Sarika mentioned this right at the start, is skilling is not a component but an integral part of education nowadays. That is what the NEP also says. It cannot be segregated. So part of skilling is also soft skilling. It is not just core, like giving physical skills such as tailoring or carpentry or whatever you have, but even developing the soft skills such as leadership, just communication, interpersonal skills, that is also so essential and so integral to education. Because when we talk about education, when I remember in our philosophy of education classes, it was always, what is education would always be the question, correct? So what is education is, all of this is a part of education, like building individuals or building students who will be employable, who will be able to contribute meaningfully to society when they grow up, is what we are aiming for. So in order to be able to do that, you have to build, and holistically you have to build the child, holistically you have to build the student, and for that to happen, soft skills are very essential and crucial. So what we call 21st century skills right now, and a lot of classrooms are inculcating this into their work, into the curriculum, into their day-to-day activities, and I think that is a very good step forward. If we look at the list of 21st century skills, we have creativity, critical thinking, leadership, problem solving, social skills, innovation skills, all these things. Like, we want to create not just robots who will fit into the machine of industrialism, or if we want to create innovators, we want to create leaders, we want to create thinkers who will change the future of India, who will be able to like say, okay, see what is happening, like be able to analyze, be able to critically think, logically think, and then make changes necessary using their own thought processes, right? So in order to be able to do that, it's a muscle. You need to keep working at it. It doesn't just automatically come. If you are trained to think critically, if you are trained to be like good with your communication skills, with your interpersonal skills, that is how you become a better professional in the work field. So do soft skills help in preparing for a successful career? Definitely yes. A better life? Definitely yes. Even simple things, like nobody teaches you things like CV building or email writing, or even simple things like other such things, like which are professionalism in today's world. Like, I myself was never taught any of these things. Like, nobody taught me how to build a CV. At home, family helps and things like that, but there is no institutional way, or it is not really built into your education system, at least when we were in school and college and things like that. To be honest, actually, it was at APU that I first came across all this. I joined APU as a fresh graduate. So at APU was my first laptop, my first time using emails professionally, first time doing assignments and readings on the screen. So a lot of digital literacy for me honestly happened at APU, and I think building those skills through my MA education has helped me so much in my career of right now, because writing emails to, I don't know, Shailaja, Indira, right, Prakash, writing things like that really is helping me now more than the trigonometry I studied in 10th standard or 8th standard, more than history of Shivaji that I studied. It is the email writing, it is the assignment writing, it is actually using the laptop to do things. So I think it is very, very critical to build such simple soft skills into day-to-day life, into day-to-day curriculum, into day-to-day schooling as well, to be able to create
Hello, I think we
employable.
lost Serena.
Hello, are you able
Sorry,
to hear
actually,
me?
now we lost your last sentence. I think we're concluding.
Yeah, so I
We
said I
lost
think it's
your.
very, very essential to be able to build soft skills into our day-to-day education, into curriculum, into things, to create an overall well-rounded individual who comes out of the education system, who will actually be employable, who will actually add value to society, add value to the workforce. And in my experience, so through our work at Atut here in Nepal, we have definitely found sports is a wonderful way to do it. We use football to teach exactly all these things I have been talking about. It teaches you leadership, teamwork, problem solving, critical thinking, and so many other things. And another key aspect of our work here in Nepal with our girls is our life skills workshops that we conduct. So these just help give basic information and basic knowledge which you think is common sense, but it is not for so many people across India, across Nepal, in various, in especially in rural areas of India and Nepal, where majority of our population is. Simple things such as personal hygiene, communal hygiene, washing your hands with soap after you use the toilet, menstruation. So these are some of the issues also which we work with our children and educate them on these things. So I think just basic skills on how to be as an individual is also very, very essential to know, which you think people will know, but who's going to teach you? Like, someone needs to teach you these things for you to be knowing these things, right? So a lot of our life skills workshops, we deal essential issues on hygiene, like I said, even simple things like sharing, being polite and kind, not giving gali to each other, like how do you interpersonally act with each other, and even more complex issues like gender discrimination, caste discrimination, girls' rights, etc. So all these things are not taught formally anywhere, but these are still very important knowledge and skills to have. So I think the changes we are seeing through the work we do in skilling these girls in these soft skills ways is a very, very lot of changes we have seen. I mean, the girls we work with are still very young. The girls are between 4 to 17 years of age. So no one has gotten into the workforce yet. But we see so many changes, both small changes and big changes in their behavior, in their attitude, in their emotional management and regulation, in their interpersonal skills, in their communication skills. And we know that these are learnings when you learn, especially at such a tender age as students in school. These are skills which will build you up and hold you in good stead as you grow, and just it will be there with you forever, right? So we know that these skills that they are learning will help them so much in the workforce when they do eventually go out there and find jobs, and they'll be confident, they'll be able to speak up, they will be able to like stand in front of an audience and say things, voice their opinions, voice their rights, so things like that. So I think, yeah, definitely soft skills, like we said, is an integral part of skilling of education, and it is definitely something which builds to the holistic education of the child and must definitely be worked on every day. So yeah.
Thanks a lot. And in fact, you have made my job easier because you have been talking a lot about employability, job ready, and so on and so forth. Because my question to Prakash would be exactly around that. But before that, let me just announce two very important things. One is that this whole webinar is hosted by our alumni team, and more specifically, my colleague Remia, who is on backstage. We can't see her, but let us, just wanted to thank Remia. She has done it very nicely, kind of coordinating everything from the background. And secondly, to our audience currently, whatever our panelists are saying, any specific question or comment you want to post, please use the chat box. We'll come back to it very soon. So Prakash, one concern about vocational education or any skill development program is about job placement, and that what is the employability ratio? Okay, you can skill people, but job kahan hai? And even if job is there, are the students ready for it even after any skill development program? You are working in an organization perhaps which is also kind of engaged with that situation, as you told me earlier. Can you bring some insights into this whole job placement after skill development programs, and what are some of the things that you have seen yourself, Prakash?
See, thank you, Nazrul. Uh, when we talk about the successful job, it's all about the market. Means what is the market opportunity available in that place? If we talk about that place is a developing or that place is need a hospitality, so we need a person so who can do that kind of a work, and they can work over there. So it's basically depend on the market space, that what is market requirement at that time. For in our example, we were working in a different theme, like electrical or GDA or hospitality. So the people basically do over a survey that what basically required on that place. The people are most of the guy think that going outside doing a job is not worth it literally. So they look after the common job at their hometown, so they can do and earn good money over there at that place only. So I think it's literally depend on that what we are looking on that space. I mean, what the student are literally looking at that moment.
Okay, but if I can add to that, what you told Prakash, what do you know any specific instances where job placement after skill development has worked nicely, or where you can see that people who are placed in any industry, they have stayed back for a long period of time? Because that is another concern we have been hearing about this whole vocational education
See,
skilling.
it's all about just as I said earlier that if the student is liking that job, the person, the marketplace is required for a good retailer or a good person over there, and that person is really enjoying over there. He's skilled, and the manager is also looking after that he's really good working over there, and he's skilled on that work, and he's not leaving that place. I mean, he's just वो वहीं पर है और काम कर रहा है उस चीज को लेकर और बहुत स्किल्ड हो चुका है. सो मैनेजर डजंट वांट टू लीव हिम. For the instant, we have a one story about a one girl who is literally from a small town, and she started her journey from around a 12K salary, and now she's earning around 35 to 40K per month, and she's currently working from 2015 to till now. She's working over there, and she's looking after her family also. She's looking, she's belong from a very uh, back class family, but she's still looking her family also, and her life standard is also improved with that job only.
Great, thank you. So, my colleague Rahul has posed one question. We have also some questions in our hand from earlier, but this is very specific and this is very relevant question. So, I would request Remia to highlight the question from Rahul, and then I'll pose it to Sarika maybe. Yeah, Sarika, you mentioned, and we all know that more than 20 ministries are involved in kind of this offering various kinds of skill development programs, right? Although we know that the last skill development policy, including the new education policy, are trying to talk about convergence. But how is it happening?
Thank
You
you
have
for
to
your
unmute.
question, Rahul. Yeah, sorry. So, as you said, as I said, so there are more than 20 central ministries which are operating in the skilling domain. Now, when we talk about convergence, how government operates it, see, uh, every ministry has its own budget, okay, and there is something called as there's a term that it's a technical term I'm going to use because of the question you asked, which is called common cost norms. Now, for any government scheme that is being introduced or that is being implemented, there is a pattern in which the funding has to happen. Now, government has already predefined a rate, and there's a category कि ये जो skill program है वो category 1, 2 या 3 में fall करता है. It depends on the primary, secondary and the tertiary sector, like especially जैसे primary है या manufacturing है इस तरह से, या service sector का है, तो उसका जो funding cost है वो per hour cost vary करता है. सो पहला फंडा है कि ये जो सारी मिनिस्ट्रीज कैसे कॉग्निजेंस में काम करती है, उनको बाइंडिंग फैक्टर है कि भाई उनका जो गवर्नमेंट फंडिंग फॉर एवरी स्टूडेंट फॉर पर आवर ट्रेनिंग, आई एम सॉरी, वो प्री डिफाइंड होता है. दैट इज नंबर 1. दूसरा, कोई भी गवर्नमेंट स्कीम साइलो में ऑपरेट नहीं करती है. तो जितनी भी अब जैसे मान लीजिए एनईपी आया, राइट, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है. नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ने अपने कुछ पैरामीटर्स डिफाइन किए, विजन बोल लीजिए आप, या फिलोसफीज बोल लीजिए, या उनकी एडवाइजरी बोल लीजिए, जो भी टर्म आप यूज करना चाहते हैं. उसके बेसिस पे आपने नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क बनाया. ठीक है, क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क में आपने कुछ और चीजें डिफाइन की, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई एम टेलिंग यू, जैसे 30 आवर्स ऑफ लर्निंग को एक क्रेडिट के इक्विवेलेंट माना जाएगा. तो जो पूरा इकोसिस्टम है उसको, ये सारी जो कॉमन पॉलिसीज है इनको अडॉप्ट करना पड़ता है. तो कोई भी गवर्नमेंट स्किलिंग प्रोग्राम जो चलेगा उसमें क्रेडिट्स एम्बेडेड होंगे. कोई भी गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम जो चलेगा वो कॉमन कॉस्ट नॉर्म के बेसिस पे फंडेड होगा. कोई भी गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम चलेगा जो और इस तरह की जो और कॉमन पॉलिसीज हैं जो आपके पूरे इकोसिस्टम को गवर्न करती हैं, उनको उसे फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अब जैसे एनसीवीटी क्या करता है, एनसीवीटी एज अ रेगुलेटर अवार्डिंग बॉडीज रिकॉग्नाइज करता है, राइट. अवार्डिंग बॉडीज का मतलब है कुछ सेलेक्ट एंटिटीज को, लाइक आई गिव यू एन एनालॉजी, जैसे यूजीसी यूनिवर्सिटीज को रिकॉग्नाइज करता है या उनको स्टेटस देता है, उसी तरह से एनसीवीटी जो है वो स्किलिंग में जो एंटिटीज हैं उनको एक रिकॉग्निशन देता है, जिसको अवार्डिंग बॉडी बोलते हैं. उसके लिए कुछ क्राइटेरिया सेट हैं, एवरीबडी हैज टू फॉलो देम. नाउ, ये जो अवार्डिंग बॉडीज हैं ये एक तरह से एम्पावर्ड हैं कि आप स्किलिंग की प्रोग्राम्स चलाइए. तो जितनी भी मिनिस्ट्रीज हैं, ठीक है, उनको अपार्ट फ्रॉम, उनको इन अवार्डिंग बॉडीज को इंगेज कर, वो इनको इंगेज कर सकती हैं विदाउट एनी एडिशनल नॉर्म, अनलेस स्कीम में उन्होंने कुछ और नॉर्म प्रिस्क्राइब किया हो. सिमिलरली असेसमेंट्स के लिए हमने कुछ एंटिटीज आइडेंटिफाई की हुई हैं. ठीक है, तो जितनी भी स्कीम्स हैं उनमें वो असेसमेंट के लिए उन एंटिटीज को यूज किया जा सकता है. तो इस तरह से एक कंसोलिडेटेड एफर्ट है कि जो डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ चीजें ना हो, मतलब एक मिनिस्ट्री मैं हूँ, पहले मैं अपने प्रोजेक्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पार्टनर्स बनाऊं, फिर मैं उसके लिए असेसमेंट पार्टनर्स भी ढूंढूं, फिर दूसरी मिनिस्ट्री सेम एक्सरसाइज करेगी। तो हमने वो प्रोविजन इनेबल किया है कि भाई आप चाहें तो इनसे करा सकते हैं। अगेन मिनिस्ट्री है तो मैंडेटरी है तो आप नहीं करते हो, बट इट इज मोर ऑफ कि ठीक है देयर इज अ सिस्टम अवेलेबल एंड मोर और लेस दे यू नो मान जाते हैं टाइप से ना, हम एक दूसरे के रिसोर्सेज यूज कर लेते हैं टू दी बेस्ट लेवल पॉसिबल एज प्रिस्क्राइब्ड। तो इस तरह से कन्वर्जेंस के एफर्ट किए जाते हैं। जो आपका पार्ट 2 है, if the question is the same which has been written, this is a challenge we see even with respect to child rights and child protection issues and many such policy issues. I am not sure कि आप इसमें किस तरह से चाइल्ड राइट की बात कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज स्किलिंग में हमने बहुत प्रॉपरली ध्यान रखा है कि मिनिमम एज ऑफ स्किलिंग क्या होनी चाहिए, 14 के नीचे नहीं हो सकती है। हजार्डस जॉब प्रोफाइल है या जॉब रोल्स हैं तो उसमें 16 के नीचे नहीं हो सकती, जो कि लेबर लॉज के अकॉर्डेंस में है। If you have more to add to this question, please feel free, but I think I have addressed more.
Yeah. I think this is, I mean, just Rahul just said that just like child rights policy, because that is also, child is one, but our labor policies have different norms. Child marriage will have different norms. So all kinds of complications brought about by various
तो
ministries.
वो सारे नॉर्म्स जब भी कोई जैसे मैं बताया कि अगर हमें स्किलिंग करानी है तो वी टेक इनटू कंसिडरेशन कि चाइल्ड राइट्स के क्या नॉर्म्स हैं। So that is taken into consideration.
So you stay back with us, Sarika, because we also requested, Remia requested specifically when we announced this webinar that people who are interested in this topic, they can write their questions to us beforehand.
Right.
So one concern was coming repeatedly in 2-3 questions, and that is the issue of class. In India, any class, the economic divide between among people, and in India that is unavoidable. So one specific question that was posed by various participants was that all these skill development policies or all these efforts, will they be able to gap the divide between the people, basically divide between haves and have-nots.
The class divide, basically.
Yeah, people who are adequately resourced, people who are coming from privileged backgrounds, and people who are coming from marginalized backgrounds. Are there any specific policy intervention, or even in practice, do you see anything?
So, okay, there cannot be an affirmative answer to this. Okay, because I cannot say कि yes, skilling will do that or skilling may not do that. But everything that the government does is based on a vision, an expectation that yes, we want to do this. Now, I would like to understand, I mean, of course, we are not into an interactive session, but yes, what are we meaning by skillings? Is skilling simply the applied, application of whatever knowledge you have? Yes, that is a part of it, but skilling is much more than it. आप क्यों चाहते हो कि लोग स्किलिंग हो, लोगों की स्किल हो? पहला तो है कि आप चाहते हो कि लोग स्किल्ड हो ताकि उनकी एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज बढ़े। सी, एम्प्लॉयमेंट इज अ वेरी बिग गेम चेंजर। The moment a person is employed, a lot of things around them change. आप प्रोडक्टिव मेंबर हो सोसाइटी के, आप लाइवलीहुड जनरेट कर रहे हो अपनी, आप बिकॉज यू आर बिजी एंड प्रोडक्टिव एंड लाइवलीहुड जनरेट कर रहे हो, तो आप बहुत सारे सोशल एंड अदर इवल इश्यूज से अपने आप को थोड़ा डिस्ट्रैक्टेड महसूस करते हो। मे नॉट बी टोटली, बट lack of time and too much of things impact this. I mean, this is again a personal view that I'm making here. Apart from this, skilling आपके अंदर एक हायर एफिशिएंसी आपकी हार्नेस करता है। स्किलिंग आपको इनोवेटिव और कॉम्पिटिटिव बनाने के लिए एक टूल है। स्किलिंग से आपका एक एंटरप्रेन्योरियल नेचर इनकलकेट करने का भी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी आपको मिल सकता है। तो स्किलिंग कोई एक एम्ड ऑब्जेक्टिव की तरफ नहीं है। स्किल एक बहुत ही, हम बार बार वो टर्म यूज करते हैं, होलिस्टिक। तो जब आप होलिस्टिक कहते हो तो ये हर तरह से आपकी वेलबींग और सोशल, पर्सनल, कम्युनिटी, पूरी हर तरह की वेलबींग को ध्यान में रखता है. साथ ही साथ जब आप स्किलिंग की बात करते हो तो यू आर मोर क्रिएटिव, यू आर मोर you think, it's a combination basically. आप सोचेंगे, आप करेंगे, आप क्रिएटिव होंगे, आप इनोवेटिव होने की कोशिश करेंगे, आप प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग करेंगे, बिकॉज दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ योर जॉब कल्चर ऑल्सो. जब आप जॉब में होते हैं तो आप ये सारी चीजें करते हैं, और क्योंकि आप ये सब चीजें करते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं ये आपकी लाइफ का पार्ट भी बनता है. ये तो हुई जेनरिक बात. अब जैसे कि अब आप बहुत स्पेसिफिकली पूछ रहे हो, तो क्या ये हमारी फिनेंशियल और जो मार्जिनल सोशल डिवाइड है उसको एड्रेस कर पाएगा? यस, देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी, क्योंकि जब लोगों की फिनेंशियल और सोशल कंडीशन बेटर होती हैं तो उनके थॉट प्रोसेस में भी चेंज होता है. अगर क्लास डिवाइड हमारा फिनेंशियल रीजंस की वजह से है तो एज वन ग्रोज the entire society grows. So it is a very relative and a subjective divide. But yes, skilling may act as a means to enhance and improve your livelihood is what I believe. Thank you.
Exactly. So Manish, one of our alumni, has posted not question, a comment on that. Remia, you can perhaps display Manish's comment. He has just now joined. Basically, he's saying that probably will require, and Manish being a researcher, he's
Sure.
saying that probably will require some more empirical research, which is
Please
very true,
come back
Manish.
to us with your analysis.
But Rahul has posed another question to Charanya, but I will come to that after some time, because I will come to that after some time, Remia.
Sure.
Because Sarika was talking about various benefits of skilling, and on that also actually we got a couple of questions from our participants, audience. And one question I think Prakash would be able to answer, and that question was very specific, Prakash, that skilling provides jobs, I mean, instrumentally. But two individuals wrote to us saying that can skilling help someone to become a good entrepreneur? Can skilling help someone to start an organization or a business? Do you know any such case studies, or what is your response to it?
It's all about to nurture you. Okay, so it's not only about to skill yourself, it's also provide you to the courage to see how you are dealing with the people. It's always nurture you in any way to how to behave with the people, how to talk with the people in a communication way, in everything. And it's also uplift the people. But when we talk about that skilling can make you entrepreneur, yeah, it can be, because we have some example also that from our skilling courses, students only, they started their own business entrepreneurship with that only. By learning that thing, they know that हमें क्या कहाँ पे क्या करना है. For example, we have a one GDA member. She is a married woman, and before she was she just 12th pass, and after connecting, joining, completed the course. She done I think 2 year job over there in hospital, and after doing and learning everything that what is a hospital requirement and then how can I work over there, and there is some government scheme also which can help them, just like a skill loan scheme are there also which help us to get a loan and start their own business. So by that thing, some government loan, she started their own business, and entrepreneur now she's earning very well, and she is providing nurses to other hospitals also. And we have a lot of example also. I mean, 2 or 3 people are there who started their own, and now they are earning very well within that. Because it's all about that how you fit in that business and how you are capturing that market within that self only.
Yeah, so there are possibilities. It all depends on the individual, maybe, and the circumstances, right?
Yeah.
So Nazrul, I'll just say one line here.
Go ahead.
So there is no one size fits all approach in anything that we do. So the same person who is skilled on the same topic may become a very successful entrepreneur. The other may not be the other could not get a similar successful job, or he may just get a job. So there could be a lot of options coming out of the same kind of input. So a lot of it depends on an individual ability, passion, and desire as well.
Great. So yeah, now I think Remya, we can display the question to Sharanya. So how long, I'll just read the question because many of our audience may be logging from their phones. How long has been Atut working, and has it provided emancipatory potential beyond formal schooling level? Some examples. Sharanya, when you respond to it, we also got another question from before when we announced this webinar, and that question perhaps you can take up together. That question was very specifically about different aspects of classroom management when we give any skills training. Perhaps it is also talking about core skills, life skills, soft skills. If you can also touch upon
In the
that, it would be
classroom.
good. Yeah, and along with Rahul's. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Nazrul. Thank you, Rahul, for your question. Nice to even read your name there, Rahul. So yes, a toot was established in 2018. We started our ground operations in 2019, December actually, and then in March 2020, COVID happened. So then we, after 3 months of beginning our work, we were shut down for almost 1.5 years. And then in September 2022, no 21 September 21, we were able to restart. So it's been since then, it's been all close to 3 years of actual on ground programming daily with the girls. So yes, we were established in 2018, started working in 2019 on ground, and post COVID we have been very, very regular, every day, daily football sessions, educational classes, life skills workshops, 5 days a week. So has it provided emancipatory potential? Yes. So we're not a formal schooling organization. We are a before school so Atut runs a before school and an after school program where we, like I said, we provide football sessions, educational classes, life skills workshops, and a lot of community engagement with working with the parents of our beneficiaries. Has it provided any emancipation? Recent, yeah, it's been just having the space and of offering football, offering sports, offering a team outdoor sports to girls here in this area we work with has been so emancipating for them. It's been so empowering. They never had such a space before at all. And I think another key aspect of our work is the regular community engagement that we do. We are constantly following up with our girls' families, with the parents, with other community stakeholders. Because, like I said, this is not an area where girls are allowed to, step out of the house, really play much. But we haven't faced much backlash as such from the community, and they've been very, very welcoming. And I feel like this has been like a communal emancipation that has happened, where the community is also accepting that, oh, girls can play football, oh, girls can do this. And through the football, they're seeing their girls growing their confidence, growing their leadership skills. And a lot of parents have told us this, that, the girls we work with speak Awadhi, so it's slightly Bhojpuri type accent, language. So when they're like, oh, ये तो एकदम घर में ऐसा बोला थी, पहले नहीं बोला थी. So like they tell us about how the girls have started speaking up, and parents have seen so many changes in their own children, and they are telling us this, and that has been really nice for us to hear, as well as how football and how sports and how our program has been helping build these girls' capacities such that it will help them, in their future as well. Which leads me to the other question Nazrul spoke about, is how we can incorporate these skills in the classroom as such. Definitely, yes. Building 21st century skills in the classroom is very, very essential, and it should be an integral part of education, as we have already discussed earlier. So even this is what we do in our classrooms at Atut as well. We have girls who are given responsibility of material. They're given leadership roles, which we rotate weekly, saying, okay, you are in charge of bringing material to the classroom. Even our football equipment, the girls have assigned responsibility, saying you are responsible for bringing all the equipment to the field, taking it back, safeguarding it, making sure it's safe. All of those. So all of these things and these are things they have never done before. They have never, no one has thought them capable enough of doing this. And I think that is what is key, is when you see the child as capable of doing things and you give them the opportunity to do, take responsibility, build these skills, that is when real education happens. Education in terms of where they see themselves capable of being able to do these things. um, so I think one of the questions which I think Nazrul had shared earlier is how is it different from the knowledge of what is. So what you can learn anywhere, right? Look, you can read in a book through distance education, but how you learn, how to do it, how to be as a being is not really taught. It's not easy unless you have guidance, unless you have role models you follow. And schools should be that place for us to build these essential skills of students. And I think that is what is slowly building in our classrooms in India today. In Nepal is still working towards it but I see a lot of schools in India building these things into the classroom as well. So yes, the how and building essential life skills into classrooms is definitely very, very important. So yeah, I mean, I just want to add another example is from our own organization. Like, we also work towards empowering our younger teammates, our younger staff members as well. And some people are always watching, so we have opportunities for travel. So two of our program officers are actually traveling to France tomorrow. They leave tomorrow actually for their journey to France for a festival 24. It's a Football for Good festival happening in conjunction with the Olympics in Paris. And it's an opportunity which we got selected for, because, and one of them is will be speaking at a very special event at the Olympics there in Paris. So I mean, and this was an opportunity she got because of the way she is so communicative, because of her speaking skills, her public speaking skills, her exuberance, her vibrance. These are things which the organizers saw in her and recognized and selected her for a speaking opportunity as well. So I mean, helping build all these skills for students definitely helps them in their lives, gives them opportunities, takes you places which you didn't even think you would get with just textbook education or with just written education. So yeah, I hope I've answered the
No, yes,
questions.
yes. Yeah, lovely, because another friend of ours, Mrigandra, seeing he has commented, communal, I mean, he has appreciated the whole communal and emancipation thing that you mentioned. And Rahul, being a cynical academic again, so he has said that I hope it sustains, because I have seen many such engagement being all good things do. I think there are no more questions. And of course, if you all want to add anything very specific, any last points, you are welcome. Otherwise, we'll conclude the session. Yeah, go ahead. Someone, I think mic was on. Nothing from Sharanya's. Prakash?
So, Nazrul,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So before we conclude, I would like to say one of the questions earlier I think we received was on platforms which can guide us in developing specific skills. Right. So
Yes,
what
yes, yeah. I forgot that. Yeah, you go ahead.
So what I can say, yes, there are multiple platforms. So let's say, as I said, from NCVT's perspective, all the NSQF aligned qualifications are available on National Qualification Register. It's accessible at www.nqr.gov.in. Apart from that, a lot of I can mention two websites which are government websites, and they are offering e-content, I believe, free of cost. So one is a Swayam portal, which also many of us know it as MOOCs. And the other is, all of us, we know about this Karam Yogi Bharat. So Karam Yogi Bharat has their own page wherein they have, they have some listed e-content, small, like what it could range from say 3 hours to say 7 8 hours. Whenever you have time and comfort and convenience, you can just go and attend those courses free of cost. So that was one input from my end on this.
Thank you. So Prakash, any last point from your side?
No.
Thank you, and it was real. I mean,
I just wanted to add actually after the question for Ramya, is it okay if I share some the website of Atoot and our social media handles if anyone is interested in going through the work we do and our organization and looking through it? Do you think that's okay, Ramya?
Definitely, you can put in the chat box.
I'll put it in the private chat here, and then if you could share it on the.
Okay. Ramya, you can display the comment.
Because I don't have the YouTube page open. So if you can just put this up, and if anyone's interested, you can go through our social media, go through our website. And if anyone is coming to Nepal anytime, then please get in touch. We would love to have you. We would love to host you. You are welcome to visit our organization, welcome to visit our girls at any time. I'm really excited to have any alumni over or anyone else, teachers, staff, anyone. Yeah. Just open invitation to everyone to come to Nepal.
Thank you. And I learned a lot from all of you. Ramya perhaps will post one message that anyone wants to get connected to the alumni teams. He will share if you have further queries, you can write to us. Yeah. Thank you. We can conclude now, and nice to meet all of you, all the online.
Same here. Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, Nazrul, for hosting such a great webinar. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Thanks.
Same, like.
Thank you, everyone.